My roommate is a positive energy influencer. Whenever a disaster strikes anywhere, she takes me along for rescue missions. Once, a magnitude 7 earthquake hit H-Town. She took me there for disaster relief and had me crawl into the rubble to save people. I never expected an aftershock would occur, burying me deep in the rubble, crying out in pain. Yet, after filming a video, she simply abandoned me. By the time the rescue team arrived, I had completely lost all signs of life. She became an overnight sensation, all thanks to my death, became a mega influencer with millions of followers, feasting on blood-stained buns, relying on live streaming donations, earning tens of millions a year. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day my roommate called me to join the earthquake relief efforts. The familiar sound of a live stream echoed from the dorm room. Thank you, everyone, miners. Please don't send donations. Wherever there's a disaster, you'll find me, Sarah. Together, let's spread positive energy to every corner of the world. Isn't this my demon roommate Sarah? Listening to her hypocritical words, the pen in my hand unconsciously tightened its grip. Looking at her sanctimonious face, an endless surge of anger welled up in my heart. In my past life, it was she who took me to the earthquake relief efforts. I had just entered the ruins to rescue people when an aftershock suddenly struck. Heavy concrete bricks crushed my leg, exposing the kneecap. Blood dripping everywhere, yet she, with a delighted smile, took out her phone to film my miserable state, uttering perfunctory words of comfort. Bella, hold on a little longer, I'll call the rescue team soon. I waited in agony for 8 hours, but the rescue team never came. Aftershock struck again and again, burying me deeper. Steel bars pierced through my chest, the excruciating pain nearly causing me to lose consciousness. It hurt too much, and after that, I felt nothing more. My soul drifted into the air, and I found Sarah. It turned out she had found a hotel, slept soundly, and then returned directly to school, abandoning me in the ruins. At this thought, I crumpled the homework paper in my hand into a tight ball. A wave of despair, pain, and anger surged from the depths of my heart. I trusted her so much, yet she stood by and did nothing, all for a chance at overnight fame. Why do good people suffer while the wicked reap fame and fortune? I died with unresolved grievances, unable to reincarnate. It turns out I truly have been reborn. I quickly checked the date on my phone, October 15th, the day before the earthquake was set to occur. It's now 1 p.m., and the earthquake is scheduled for 1 a.m. There are only 12 hours left until the earthquake occurs. Fortunately, it's not today. I still have a chance to change everything. I was about to leave when Sarah called out to me. With a fake smile, she asked, Bella, where are you going with your bag? If something happens tomorrow, where can I find you? Hearing this, my heart tightened. Could Sarah also be a reborn person? How does she know something will happen tomorrow? My hand clenched even tighter. To confirm whether she was reborn or not, I asked her in return, how do you know something will happen tomorrow? I have to go out tomorrow. I won't be at school. Sarah immediately grew anxious upon hearing this. No way, you have to be at school tomorrow. I showed a puzzled expression, and Sarah quickly came up with an excuse. I was just saying it offhand. Aren't we partners in the same alliance? Natural and man-made disasters don't pick their timing. We have to be on standby at all times. My emotions churned inside me, and I almost couldn't hold back from venting. Sarah really does see herself as a savior. I'm certain she's also been reborn. The first thing she did after being reborn wasn't to prevent more deaths, but to wait for this group of people to die, including me, of course. I took a deep breath and turned to Sarah, saying, I'm going home today to celebrate my uncle's birthday. I'll be back tomorrow. Hearing that I would return tomorrow, Sarah said with satisfaction, okay. A look of delight spread across her face as she continued editing her video. I must go and prevent this disaster from happening. This is the meaning of my rebirth. Not only do I want everyone in H-Town to live well, but I also want to expose Sarah's false face and seek revenge for my past life. I hurriedly took a taxi to find my uncle who works at the Earthquake Bureau. My parents died early, and it was my uncle who raised me single-handedly. My uncle came downstairs and saw me, affectionately patted my shoulder, and asked with a beaming smile, Hey, Bella, how have you been lately? You know what? Your uncle got a bonus. If you're short on money, just let me know. My tears fell like a string of broken pearls as I clung tightly to my uncle, dampening his shirt with my sorrow. My uncle furrowed his brow and asked anxiously, What's wrong, Bella? Did someone bully you? Don't be afraid, I'm here. His concern only deepened my guilt. In my past life, I had been buried under the rubble before I could even repay him for raising me. Later, when my uncle found my remains, He wept bitterly for days, holding his head in his hands. Uncle believed Sarah's nonsense and blamed himself for not taking good care of me. Actually, it was my fault for not listening to my uncle. He always told me, the prerequisite for saving others is having the ability to protect yourself. Looking back now, I realize how foolish I was back then, rushing blindly to save someone. Not only did I fail to rescue anyone, but I also caused trouble for the country. It took the rescue team 3 days to find my remains. If I hadn't caused trouble for the country, perhaps those resources could have been used to save others. I wiped away my tears, took a deep breath, and told my uncle everything that had happened, leaving out no details. To my surprise, my uncle didn't question my words at all. He said firmly, "Bella, don't worry, I'll help you." My uncle reported the matter to his superiors, but they opposed it. Since no earthquake activity data had been detected, it was impossible to issue an earthquake warning. Otherwise, there is the responsibility of spreading rumors and causing panic. If we wait until seismic activity is detected, it will be too late. Now there are only 10 hours left until the earthquake. We have decided to go to H-Town in person. Uncle didn't even realize he had run through several red lights. We found the town mayor, who happened to be Uncle's classmate. I explained everything in detail to the mayor. After hearing it, the mayor didn't hesitate to express his trust. "Young lady, I believe you. Let's move to a safe place right now." He also mentioned the recent abnormal phenomena observed, such as ants moving and poultry becoming restless, but the townspeople didn't believe it, thinking the mayor was lying. However, to make the entire town believe and evacuate within 7 hours, my uncle had no choice but to take out his work ID. "This is my work ID from the Seismological Bureau. We've detected frequent geological activity in this area, with signs of an earthquake, so we need everyone to evacuate in advance." Afterwards, everyone believed my uncle's words, and within 6 hours of the earthquake, the entire town was safely evacuated. I was so moved that tears fell from my eyes. Only the locals knew about this matter. We specifically instructed the village chief to keep it confidential to avoid causing unnecessary panic. When I returned home in the evening, my uncle gently patted my head and comforted me, saying, "Bella, don't worry anymore, everything has been taken care of, rest easy and go to sleep." I choked up, "Uncle, aren't you afraid this might be false information? What if the higher-ups find out and remove you from your position?" Uncle gently tapped the tip of my nose and said with a smile, "If the earthquake doesn't happen, I'd willingly accept being removed from my post. Because the people of H-Town would be safe and sound, with no loss of property, and more importantly, I wouldn't lose you. I promised your mother that I would take good care of you." My tears flowed uncontrollably. In my past life, my recklessness and disregard for my own safety had caused my uncle so much pain. He has always treated me as his own daughter. It was already midnight, yet I tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. I wish it were all just a dream, that none of it had ever happened. The next day, my uncle knocked on the door, his voice filled with shock. "Bella, quickly look at the news. There really was an earthquake." I frantically opened my phone, and a news headline suddenly caught my eye. A magnitude 7 earthquake occurred in City S, with the epicenter located in H-Town. The number of casualties is currently unknown. I wiped away my tears. My uncle called the town mayor, and from the other end of the line came the mayor's grateful voice, "Old classmate. On behalf of the whole town, I thank you. We're all fine, just some houses collapsed or were damaged. As long as everyone in our town is alive, we can always rebuild our houses later." I hugged my uncle, unable to put my feelings into words at that moment. We saved everyone in the entire town. My uncle took me out for a big meal to celebrate. When I opened my phone again, there were multiple missed calls, all from Sarah. Just then, another call came in, and I answered it. Sarah said excitedly, "Bella, where are you? Why did it take you so long to answer? Wasn't my prediction spot on? I said something would happen today, and look, have you seen the news? There really was an earthquake in S City. Let's pack up and head over quickly." A lot of fans are commenting on our videos, urging us to go check out the situation. Sarah grew more and more excited as she spoke, inadvertently revealing her true thoughts. "If we go early and catch the wave of traffic, we could even become influencers with millions of followers." My hand gripping the phone tightened involuntarily, a raging fire burning in my heart. Perhaps Sarah was too excited and let her words slip. She used to say that we must save people at the first opportunity. Psychology suggests that subconscious thoughts reveal a person's true intentions. See, she knew the earthquake was coming, yet she disregarded the lives of thousands, all for her own overnight fame. I once followed her every command. Believing she was genuinely committed to saving lives, I never expected her to be so hypocritical. The fury within me could no longer be contained, and I angrily shouted into the phone, "Sarah, what did you say? I never thought you were this kind of person, using the pretense of saving lives to chase clout, just to make yourself an internet celebrity. Do you know how much pain those who have lost their lives or their families are suffering inside, yet you use this to gain followers? From today on, we're done, don't ever ask me to film videos with you again." Sarah was stunned, never expecting me to speak to her like that. Sarah tried to explain and make amends. "Bella, it's not what you think, listen to me, this isn't the time to be stubborn, let's go save someone first." "Okay, only after I exposed you did you say it's about saving someone." I flatly refused. "Go by yourself if you want to." I hung up the phone directly. No need to ruin my mood. Sarah first sent many messages begging me, but I didn't reply, seeing that her competitor had already set off. Sarah couldn't hold back any longer. She began to guilt-trip me. "Bella, who do you think you are, putting on such airs? You're not some big star, you're just a despicable person who refuses to help someone in need. Even without you, I can manage on my own, we'll see about that." I posted a statement online, saying I would never make videos with Sarah again. Unexpectedly, I was attacked by fans. Now that the real disaster has come. "You're turning into a coward, Bella, are you even human? You let Sarah go rescue someone alone, do you even have a conscience?" I was morally coerced and verbally insulted by fans. Unexpectedly, Sarah had already taken her roommate Julia to H-Town. I made many calls to Julia, but none of them went through. The next day when I returned to school, Sarah and the others still hadn't come back. I came across a new video posted on Sarah's account. "Hello, dear fans, good afternoon. We arrived in H-Town as soon as possible to carry out rescue operations. Today, I brought along my roommate Julia. When we got to this town, we found that they had evacuated in advance. That's really good news. Right now, Julia and I are searching to see if there's anyone left who hasn't evacuated. Don't worry about us." When I saw this video, I immediately called Julia's phone. The call went through, but no one answered. My heart couldn't help but tighten. Could something have happened to Julia? At that moment, I saw Sarah return to the dormitory, covered in mud from head to toe. Her eyes betrayed a hint of fear that was hard to conceal. I grabbed Sarah's hand and demanded, "Where is Julia? Why have you come back alone?" Sarah stammered in reply, "On the way back, we encountered a mudslide. I managed to escape, but Julia, she was buried." Hearing this, I was furious. I slapped Sarah hard across the face and roared, "Sarah, are you even human? You ran away by yourself and left Julia alone there." Sarah, however, looked completely indifferent and casually said, "I did my best, but there was really no way to save her. I've already called the rescue team." After saying that, covered in mud and water, she climbed straight into bed to edit her videos, showing no concern whatsoever for Julia's life or death. I called the rescue team myself, not believing for a second that Sarah would have contacted them. Julia had already been rescued but was unconscious, and I didn't tell Sarah. I came across another video of Sarah. In the video, she was crying and pretending to blame herself, trying to win sympathy from netizens. "Julia, Julia. It's my fault, I didn't protect you well enough, I will find someone to save you. It was only because Bella refused to go that Julia went instead. If there is a next life, I would rather be the one swept away." I am truly terrified, blaming myself every day. The netizens below unanimously offered comforting praise. "Bella, it was you who made Julia go in your place. Now she is missing, possibly dead. Don't you feel any guilt, Bella? Where the hell have you been?" Sarah was almost swept away by the mudslide, and Julia is still missing. Hug, we believe Julia won't blame you. We will always support you. Positive energy. I'm crying. Sarah, you and Julia are so great. Julia will definitely be fine. Sarah showed not a trace of guilt on her face, constantly trying to whitewash herself. She went viral again with the video of Julia being swept away by the mudslide. Her follower count surged from 1 million to over 3 million. Watching all of this, I felt utterly disgusted and furious. I returned to the dorm and directly exposed her facade. "Sarah, how can you be so hypocritical? You never went to look for the rescue team, you used Julia to go viral and gain followers. If you don't publicly apologize and delete the video, I'm going to expose you." Sarah kept refreshing the follower count, answering nonchalantly, "Do you have any proof? Without evidence, how can you accuse me of using Julia?" I did call the rescue team, whether they found her or not is their business. Since Sarah was being so arrogant, I decided to pour some cold water on her. Sarah, did you know, Julia isn't dead at all, she was rescued. Upon hearing this news, Sarah couldn't even hold on to her phone anymore. It fell to the ground. She asked me incredulously, how could you possibly find it? You're lying to me. Sarah must have thought it was impossible to find, after my death in my previous life. My soul drifted in the air. Of course, I knew exactly where the mudslide had occurred in the town. I sneered, what's wrong? Did the blood-stained bun taste good? Afraid of being exposed later, Sarah argued stubbornly. I'm not afraid of her. In the face of disaster, living for oneself is not wrong. If one doesn't look out for themselves, heaven and earth will condemn them. On the contrary, Bella, it's because you didn't go that Julia got hurt, not me. Now that something has happened to Julia, you're lecturing me instead. Don't push your luck. With just those few thousand lousy followers of yours, who would believe you, villains always find reasons and speak with conviction. I have no evidence now, so I can only gather it step by step to expose her. Julia's injury is definitely not as simple as it seems. Now, Sarah is riding the wave of the trending topic, letting her soar for a while. The higher she flies, the harder she'll fall. Sarah may have put on a calm front, but inside, she must have been as restless as an ant on a hot pan. Given her ruthless and vicious nature, she was probably already scheming about how to make Julia disappear. Without a moment's hesitation, I moved out of the dormitory. I simply couldn't bear to share a room with such a disgusting person. The next day, Julia's father aggressively confronted Sarah. Julia's father suddenly grabbed Sarah by the collar, his eyes bloodshot and veins bulging on his forehead. Was it you who told Julia to go help with the disaster relief? My daughter is lying in the hospital unconscious, and you're here living it up. Just you wait, I'll beat the hell out of you, you bitch. Just as Julia's father was about to strike, the counselor who had rushed over in time stopped him. Julia, please calm down, let's talk things out properly, don't get too worked up. Sarah was so frightened that her legs went weak. Suddenly, she pointed the finger at me and screamed. It's her. I originally asked Bella to go, but she refused. That's why Julia said she was willing to go with me. The root cause of all this is Bella. She knew a mudslide was going to happen, but she didn't tell us and let us take the risk. I was burning with rage inside, wishing I could slap Sarah to death right then and there. Sarah actually dared to smear my reputation in front of so many people. Mr. Lee, with his burly build, had a face so dark and menacing it sent chills down one's spine. He slowly walked toward me and asked coldly, "Are you Bella?" I nodded, feeling a bit nervous inside. Julia's father's footsteps drew closer, and I involuntarily took a few steps back. Seeing this, Sarah added fuel to the fire. It's her. Julia died in her place. Suddenly, a sharp crack rang out as a heavy slap landed squarely on Sarah's face. Clutching her reddened cheek, she retorted softly to Julia's father, "Why did you hit me?" It was clearly Julia who went in place of Bella. Julia's father widened his eyes, furious beyond words, and said, "My daughter isn't dead yet. How dare you curse her? If anything happens to my daughter, I'll make sure you pay for it." When Julia's father turned to me, his gloomy expression softened considerably, and he said gratefully, "Thank you, Bella. If it weren't for you contacting the rescue team, I might never have seen Julia again. I saw the message you sent on Julia's phone, telling her not to go. It's a shame Julia didn't see it." The counselor tried to mediate, and Julia's father reluctantly agreed, deciding to wait until Julia woke up before discussing anything further. Julia's father pointed at Sarah and said in a threatening tone, "I recorded a video today. Don't think you're the only one who can post things online. I can too. Julia is lying in the hospital now, and you're going to pay for her hospitalization and medical expenses, or else you'll regret it." Sarah had no choice but to nod in agreement. Though her face was full of resentment, not only had she failed to shift the blame, but she had also been threatened by Julia's father. The next day, Sarah obediently went to the hospital to pay the medical bills. Sarah saw me at the hospital and hurriedly asked, "Which room is Julia in?" I rolled my eyes coldly and retorted, "What do you want?" She anxiously grabbed my hand and explained, "Bella, don't misunderstand. I already know I was wrong. I just want to apologize to her, nothing else." Without hesitation, I refused. "Julia hasn't woken up yet. Even if you apologize, she won't hear it. I suggest you save your breath." Seeing that I wouldn't help her, Sarah went to ask the nurse after paying the fees and found out that Julia was in Ward 502. By the time Sarah found the room, I was already inside. I looked at her and asked sarcastically, "You still dare to come?" Aren't you afraid that Julia's father will see you and give you another punch? Sarah stared at the unconscious Julia in silence, but a flicker of cunning flashed in her eyes. At that moment, the doctor on rounds walked over. Sarah asked more urgently than anyone else, "Doctor, when will my friend Julia wake up?" The doctor kept his head down, taking notes, not even glancing at Sarah, and asked coldly, "Who are you to Julia? If you're not a family member, I'm sorry, I can't disclose that." Sarah wouldn't let it go. "I paid for her medical bills, so I have the right to know." The doctor still didn't look up, walking straight out of the ward and leaving Sarah looking both awkward and furious. What Sarah didn't know was that this doctor had once been a fan of hers. Only after hearing Julia's father pour out his grievances did the doctor learn the truth, and thus felt nothing but coldness and contempt for Sarah. "I was just about to peel an apple and said with a smile, 'Actually, I know, why don't you ask me?'" Sarah quickly took the knife and started peeling the apple for me, asking anxiously, "Bella, when will Julia wake up? I really want to know so I can buy some gifts to apologize to her. It was my fault for taking her out and causing this accident. I deeply regret it and want to make it up to her properly," I said. "She should wake up in the next couple of days." That's what I heard the doctor tell Julia's father. After saying that, I seized the chance to leave. "I'm going to the restroom, please keep an eye on Julia." I stayed hidden in the opposite ward the whole time, watching Sarah's every move through the glass. Sarah first gave Julia a gentle push to test her reaction. She glanced around to make sure no one was there, then stepped out of the ward to check if I had returned. After confirming no one was around, she drew the curtain around the bed and prepared to remove Julia's oxygen tube. "Sarah, what are you trying to do?" I suddenly shouted from behind. The sudden voice startled Sarah, and I seized the moment to press the alarm. Julia's father, along with doctors and nurses, all rushed in. Sarah flusteredly made excuses. "This tube fell off on its own. I was just trying to reattach it." "Don't misunderstand," Julia's father shoved Sarah. "How dare you try to lie your way out? My phone has been recording from the TV stand all along. I've already called the police." Sarah, furious and desperate, pointed at me. "Fine, Bella, I never expected you to conspire against me. I don't know what's come over you. Have I not treated you well? Why would you want to harm me like this? I've shared everything I have with you, yet you're still unsatisfied. What is it that you really want? Bella, please, I'm begging you. Don't call the police. I'll give you all my money. Can we settle this privately?" I sneered coldly, leaned down, and whispered close to her ear, "I want everything you have." I had already teamed up with Julia's father, and as long as we found evidence of Sarah's murder, there would be a chance to turn things around. If there was no evidence, even if Julia woke up in the future, Sarah would still have a chance to escape responsibility. But with the motive for premeditated murder, she would find it hard to evade the law. Julia's father reported it to the police, and Julia was taken to the interrogation room. I never expected that just teaching a lesson would happen to block the part of the video where the oxygen tube was pulled out. Sarah was released. To be even more cautious, Julia's father transferred to another hospital. No one knows which hospital he was transferred to, not even me. Sarah almost went to jail for unplugging the oxygen, and she harbored deep resentment. So she started spreading rumors about me online. "Beware of fire, theft, and your best friend, the person I once trusted the most now wants to drag me into hell." Fans below were frantically tagging me. "Sarah, we love you the most. It's a good thing you saw through her early on. We are all your fans and will always support you, standing by your side. Bella must be jealous of you for having so many fans. I've already unfollowed her. I never expected her to be such a petty person." Seeing Sarah's slander, a surge of anger welled up inside me. Shouldn't that be my line? How could Sarah be so shameless as to twist the truth like that? I posted the video of Sarah pulling out Julia's oxygen tube online. In an instant, public opinion erupted, and the fans split into two opposing factions. Holy shit, what a huge scandal. Is Sarah really that kind of person? The evidence is solid as a rock. What else is there to say? It's definitely murder. Us saying it's murder doesn't matter. The police haven't detained Sarah. Maybe Bella really did frame her. Julia still hasn't woken up yet. Anyway, we can't just take Bella's word for it. At this moment, netizens turned their attention to the key figure, Julia. Everyone was waiting for her to wake up and reveal the truth of the matter. Just then, a city released a piece of news. On October 16th, 7 hours before the earthquake, H-Town received a warning, which is why the evacuation took place. It is said that this mysterious individual is a sophomore from XX College. This Sunday, the mayor will personally visit the school to present the student with a cash award and an honorary certificate. Beneath the news, netizens frantically tagged Sarah. Sarah, you're amazing. It was actually the mayor who presented the prize money and the certificate of honor. I will always support Sarah's positive energy. Sarah will forever be the goddess in my heart. Please post more videos in the future and keep spreading positive energy. My dear Sarah, you're simply incredible. You've saved tens of thousands of people in this town. Today is Friday, so that means the day after tomorrow. I just happened to have left something in the dorm, so I went back in. Sarah saw me and deliberately turned the video volume up to the max, making sure I could hear it. She wore a smug expression. Bella, with your measly number of fans, you think you can compete with me? I'm the chosen one. I'm trending again, but I'm puzzled. How can Sarah be so certain that the girl mentioned in the news is her? I stopped in my tracks, set my things down, and sneered. What makes you so sure the girl in the news is you, and not Julia? Sarah calmly closed her laptop, a confident smile spreading across her face. You'll never find out. I won't tell a traitor like you. Watching her smug expression, a sense of foreboding welled up inside me. Sarah will definitely target Julia in order to successfully receive the medal. Without wasting any more words on her, I immediately contacted Julia's father, urging him to ensure Julia's safety. I answered the video call and deliberately raised my voice. Hey, Julia, you're awake. Just lie down, don't talk, take care and rest. I'll come see you when I have time. I hung up the phone. Sarah heard that Julia had woken up. Her face instantly changed, and she tightly gripped the bedsheet without letting go. In the morning, I received a message from Uncle Lee. The suspect who impersonated Julia's nurse last night has been taken away by the police. In the cafeteria, I saw Sarah still constantly refreshing her account. I came across a video she posted. The mayor will come to our school tomorrow to present awards. Everyone, help me decide, which dress should I wear? Tomorrow, the TV station and I will both be live streaming. Under the video, fans are frantically leaving comments of praise. Sarah, you're amazing, you deserve all the honors. I always said Sarah was framed, otherwise why would the mayor give her an award? But there are also some voices of doubt. How can you be so sure this girl is Sarah? Who the mayor will award tomorrow is still up in the air. Sarah was happily collecting the fans' rewards. I received another message from Julia's father. Julia has woken up. Tomorrow, she can take the stage and expose Sarah's true face. However, she probably never dreamed in her wildest dreams that Julia had already woken up, and the fake nurse she had sent had been captured by the police. Tomorrow's award ceremony will be her trial. Dressed in a carefully chosen gown, I gracefully walked to the foot of the award stage. Sarah caught sight of me and sneered with disdain. Bella, today is my award ceremony, not yours. My account has nothing to do with you anymore. You were the one who said you wanted to cut ties with me back then. Back when I asked you to go, you absolutely refused, even calling me a hypocrite. What's this now? Eager to climb up and snatch my award. Seems to me you're the real hypocrite, letting Julia take the fall for you, yet you still have the nerve to stand here. Hypocrite. I was absolutely furious. I couldn't be bothered to argue with Sarah. It would just be a waste of breath. I still had a speech to give on stage. Seeing that I paid her no mind, Sarah only grew more brazen. She actually snatched the speech notes right out of my hand, flung them to the ground, and stomped all over them. All right, Bella, I never expected this. You even prepared a speech in advance. It seems you're determined to go against me. Let me tell you, my award ceremony is no place for you to cause trouble. If you don't leave now, don't blame me for being impolite. Just then, my uncle and his supervisor arrived. The supervisor warmly shook my hand and said, "You must be Bella, right? Would you be interested in working at the Seismological Bureau after graduation?" Before I could answer, Sarah eagerly cut in, "Supervisor, I'm the girl who predicted the disaster in advance. I have millions of followers, and I'd love to work at the Seismological Bureau." The leader gave her a cold glance and said with contempt, "I'm talking to Bella. What right do you have to interrupt? With your attitude, no company would ever want you." Sarah was doused with cold water on the spot and remained silent for a long time. My uncle, the leader, and I sat in the same row. Soon, the mayor took the stage. Everyone was filled with excitement and anticipation, with all eyes in the audience fixed on Sarah, unable to contain her joy and excitement. Sarah pretended to cover her face shyly. The mayor solemnly announced, "The student who has been awarded the honorary title of Model Pioneer in Disaster Prevention is..." The students in the audience shouted in unison, "Sarah, Sarah, Sarah," as if the award was already hers for the taking. Sarah walked confidently toward the stage, completely missing the 3 words the mayor uttered next, Bella. My classmates all heard my name and began murmuring among themselves in the audience. How could it be Bella? Didn't she not go to the earthquake relief efforts? Could the mayor have made a mistake? How could he make a mistake? This is being broadcast live. If he got the name wrong, what kind of mayor would he be? Sarah boldly walked to the center of the stage. Hello everyone, my name is Sarah, and I am the recipient of this honorary title. Sarah wanted to continue speaking, but the host interrupted. Sorry, this student, are you mistaken? Sarah was completely confused and insisted again. I am Sarah, the recipient of this honor. I even sent a message to the village chief the day before the earthquake. How could it not be me? It turned out that Sarah had truly been reborn. In her pursuit of both fame and fortune, she sent a cryptic message to the village chief the day before the earthquake. Run from the earthquake. Anyone who saw this message would surely think it was a prank, if the earthquake hadn't happened that day. Sarah could have claimed she sent the wrong message and brushed it off, but if the earthquake did occur, Sarah would have predicted it in advance and personally participated in the disaster relief efforts, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Sarah bet that no one would believe this message. Indeed, the village chief never even opened the message. It was blocked as spam. Seeing Sarah clutching the certificate of honor tightly, the host pointed at the name on it. Classmate, take a closer look. Is this your name? When the 3 characters, Bella, came into her view, Sarah froze, her expression instantly solidifying as if struck by lightning. She abruptly looked up at me in the audience, her confident smile gradually stiffening, replaced by shock and embarrassment. A flush of red spread from her neck to her cheeks, and she was eager to escape, but was held back by Uncle Lee. I slowly walked onto the stage, first bowing deeply, then apologizing to the mayor and the host. Hello everyone. I am Bella. Before accepting the award, I would like to resolve a small misunderstanding. Is that all right? Julia, whom everyone has been eagerly waiting for, has finally woken up today. I'd like to invite Julia to come on stage and say a few words. Everyone applauded and agreed, except for Sarah, whose face turned deathly pale. She stared at me in disbelief, her voice trembling as she questioned, Bella, so all of this was your plan? Bella, what are you doing? Stop it right now. I wheeled Julia out from behind the stage in her wheelchair. Seeing Sarah, Julia's eyes filled with rage, tears streaming down her face. Trembling with emotion, she pointed at Sarah, her voice choked with sobs. You heartless viper, today, I will expose you in front of everyone. I'll make sure you face the full force of the law. Seeing her deception about to be laid bare, Sarah pleaded with Julia. Julia, please forgive me, won't you? I was just confused for a moment. I didn't have time to save you. Julia pushed her aside, her hands trembling as she picked up the microphone. Recalling the events of that day, her emotions surged uncontrollably. I held the microphone for her, offering gentle words of comfort to help her calm down. Julia took a deep breath and began to recount. That day, when Sarah and I arrived at H-Town, we found that everyone had evacuated. I suggested turning back the way we came. But Sarah insisted that there was a household at the foot of the mountain that might not have had time to leave yet, and she wanted to go check on them, so I went with Sarah. She kept urging me to go ahead, but she herself followed behind. Later, a mudslide occurred, and I was swept away. I desperately cried for help, but Sarah remained indifferent. I managed to grab onto a tree branch. But Sarah walked over to me. I thought she was going to save me, but to my surprise, she took out a dagger and cut the branch. I was swept away by the mudslide, while she took out her phone to record a video, posting it online claiming it was an accident, when in fact it was premeditated murder. Sarah started to go crazy, pointing at Julia and shouting back, "Do you have any evidence, Julia? I'm going to sue you for defamation." Julia's father pushed Sarah to the ground and took out a police file photo. Open your dog eyes wide and see who this is. Your accomplice has already confessed that you bribed him to kill Julia in the hospital. At the sight of the photo, Sarah was completely dumbfounded, but her will to survive was strong, and she retorted, "You think you can scare me with just a photo? You're not even a police officer. Bella, you're behind all of this, aren't you? Why are you doing this to me?" I stood before her, repeating the last words I had left in my previous life when she abandoned me. Sarah, if I don't survive, please tell my uncle not to grieve. I will repay his kindness in raising me in the next life. Sarah was completely stunned, her face pale and bloodless. It took her a long time to squeeze out a few words through gritted teeth. So you were reborn too? I sneered, smoothing her disheveled hair. Yes, we were both reborn. You chose to sacrifice others for fame. While I chose to save them, I stood up, my gaze burning into her, my voice filled with anger and disappointment. You knew there would be an earthquake that day, yet you did nothing, just stood by and watched others die. Scum like you don't deserve a second chance at life. As soon as the words fell, the police stepped forward, handcuffed Sarah, and took her away. Netizens erupted in an uproar, flooding the live stream with comments expressing their shock and outrage. I've been clever all my life, yet I was completely fooled by Sarah. From now on, I'll never believe in any so-called positive energy influencers again. Fake, it's all fake. What in this world is still real? Sarah, you swindled so many donations from me, you better cough it up, you bastard. Bella was framed all along. We wronged you, Bella. I'm sorry. I just smiled, picked up my speech notes, the dream from my previous life, and finally said, it was my uncle who saved me. Who saved the people of H-Town. My uncle deserves this honor more. If there really is rebirth, I would still choose to save people, born as humans. We all have the same opportunities, it's just that different choices lead us down different paths. Sarah wanted to become famous quickly, took shortcuts, and embarked on a path of no return. She was sentenced to death for intentional homicide. With lifelong deprivation of political rights, the platform shut down her account, which had tens of millions of followers. Those followers all turned to follow me, and my fan count skyrocketed by tens of millions overnight. I never updated my videos again. My uncle was promoted for his contributions to disaster relief. I chose to work at the Earthquake Administration. With decades of memories as a lonely ghost, I knew exactly where earthquakes, floods, and fires would occur. I run the official account of the Seismological Bureau, Earthquake Watch. An account with hundreds of millions of followers. Netizens have been leaving comments one after another. This earthquake prediction account is just like Sichuan Watch. It observes everything everywhere. Today, where will there be floods? Where will there be fires? Is the state going to pay the Seismological Bureau double wages? You can ignore any other account, but you absolutely cannot ignore Earthquake Watch. Follow it now. You might need it tonight. My 80-year-old grandmother insisted I buy her a phone just to follow earthquake updates. She has to refresh the videos before bed, or she can't sleep soundly. Ever since I started following earthquake updates, I no longer worry about being buried in my sleep at night. Is this still just earthquake prediction? It even forecasts fires, murders, and accidents. You're practically my god. I use the memories from my past life, all for a bit more peace and a bit less misfortune in this world. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. I live-streamed unboxing the birthday gift from my boyfriend across the entire internet, but all I found was a pile of packing straw and half a pack of leftover spicy strips. My roommate burst out laughing beside me. Alice, I have to hand it to you. How can you even date such a stingy man? Faced with mockery from the whole internet, I angrily broke up with my boyfriend. It wasn't until 3 years later that I came across my roommate's wedding photos with her boyfriend while scrolling through local posts. She proudly captioned it, "In order to be with my rich second-generation boyfriend, I secretly swapped the gift he gave to my roommate, successfully breaking them apart. I'm the best little sheep." Distraught, I died in a car accident, opening my eyes again. I found myself back to the day before the live broadcast that went viral across the internet. My roommate was craning her neck to ask me, "Alice, has the gift from your boyfriend arrived yet?" The agony of being run over by a car still lingered in my body. Snapping back to reality, I saw my roommate Linda already reaching out to fiddle with the cardboard box on my desk. "It's quite heavy. Did your boyfriend put a bunch of rocks in there?" Linda teased, her eyes filled with blatant disdain. I suppressed the deep-seated hatred in my eyes, recalling that in my previous life, at this time, I had only been dating my boyfriend for a week. He usually dressed very plainly, so I had no idea he was a rich second-generation heir. Linda also always thought I was dating someone poor. She would often flaunt the 10 yuan milk tea her boyfriend bought her in front of me, and she never missed a chance to belittle my boyfriend. She always insists that I should stay with my broke boyfriend. It wasn't until she secretly opened the birthday gift my boyfriend gave me that she suddenly started urging me to break up with him. If it weren't for her fanning the flames in my previous life, I wouldn't have broken up with him so impulsively without even asking for an explanation. A raging fury surged within me, yet my face remained utterly calm. I took the gift box off the table and placed it inside the desk compartment. Birthday gifts are meant to be opened on the actual birthday, of course. Tomorrow, I'll live stream it for everyone to see what my boyfriend got me. though I expect it'll just be some cheap snacks like spicy strips or something. After all, we're all students. It's not like he can be as generous as your boyfriend, who doesn't even blink at spending 9.9 yuan on coffee. Hearing this, a hint of superiority flashed across the roommate's face. Her boyfriend was a greasy middle-aged man from outside the school. He spent half of his 4,000 yuan monthly salary on her. Linda made no attempt to hide it either, loudly discussing the benefits of dating a man 10 years older every day in the dorm. Mature and caring, those of us who want to find someone can't even get a chance to talk. After I changed the subject, Linda indeed didn't dwell on the gift box anymore. I breathed a sigh of relief and went to the bathroom to take a shower. As I stepped out, the moment I opened the door, I saw Linda blocking the entrance. She twisted her dry, long hair, staring at me intently. Something's off. Why did you suddenly start praising my boyfriend just now? You're not falling for my man, are you? I'm warning you, being a homewrecker will bring divine retribution. There's no good end to it. My vision went dark. If this were in my previous life, I would have already started arguing with her by now, but after witnessing her malicious side, I could only go along with her for now. I forced a dry laugh. Not at all. Not every woman is as fortunate as you. I'm just a little envious, that's all. Linda asked suspiciously. Really? Truer than gold. Linda was finally satisfied. All right, but don't lose heart. I'll ask my brother Carl, if he has any suitable friends. I'll introduce them to you, but don't expect to find someone as good as my brother Carl. I barely held back the urge to roll my eyes and went along with her. How could I ever deserve someone that good? I'm just fine sticking with my broke boyfriend. Linda snorted coldly. At least you know your place. Finally, I've sent off that big Buddha. I let out a long sigh of relief. I started thinking it over in my head. If I just hide my boyfriend's gift in advance or open it early, I can avoid making a fool of myself during tomorrow's live stream. But if that's the case, wouldn't everything Linda did in her past life be wiped clean? I remember in my previous life, after Linda got together with my boyfriend, she used connections to become my superior. Every day at work, she led the charge in bullying me. She caused me to develop depression at such a young age. How could I possibly let her off so easily? I blow-dried my hair while pondering my next move. In the evening, I went to bed early as usual, around 2 in the morning. A faint rustling sound came from the opposite bed. Seeing Linda approach, I immediately pretended to be asleep. She walked over to the lower bunk with ease. I watched as she took a pair of scissors, pulled out a cardboard box from under my desk, and cut through the tape on top. Inside were stacks of bright red renminbi. Even I almost couldn't help but exclaim along with Linda, using RMB as packing straw. Truly outrageous extravagance. No wonder Linda had so strongly advised me to break up with him in my previous life. Watching her excitedly pull out the bills one by one, I felt happy along with them. 100, 200, 3,000. We can file a case now. I curled the corners of my lips, watching her dig through the Apple family bucket and the Estee Lauder skincare set underneath. Each one is quite a crime. Seeing her contentedly gather everything from the box into her arms, filling it with cheap raffia grass and spicy strips, I also turned off the camera with a sense of satisfaction. The next morning, I woke up and glanced at Linda's empty bed. I knew she couldn't wait to go spend her money. Before dinner in the afternoon, Linda returned to the dormitory. Her face was beaming with joy, as if she had encountered the greatest fortune. Looking at the latest model iPhone in her hand, I deliberately asked, "Is that a new phone?" It was a very ordinary question, but Linda was so excited she nearly jumped out of her skin. "My husband bought it for me." "What? Are you so jealous you're trying to slander me?" Her strange reaction made even her roommate Lucy look over. Alice was just asking casually, "Why are you reacting so strongly?" Linda glared back, "Who's overreacting? I really envy your thick skin," not even picking up on people's sarcasm. Lucy turned her head away in speechless frustration. Linda rummaged through her crossbody bag again, picking and choosing before finally handing me a small sample of Estee Lauder. "Alice, to be honest, the skincare products you usually use are no different from applying water. This is a gift my husband specifically bought for you all. Use half the tube, then pass it to Lucy when you're done. Remember, don't sneak extra for yourself." She glanced smugly at the affordable skincare products on my desk. "This is your first time using a high-end brand, right? Remember to use it sparingly." I really wonder who it was that swiped most of my face cream on the first day she moved into the dorm. I smiled and asked her, "That's wonderful, Linda. I'm truly happy for you. Now that you have your own skincare products, you won't have to secretly use mine anymore, right?" Lucy, who was sitting nearby, had already put down her phone and was looking over with a strange expression. Before Linda could explode, I quickly grabbed my bag and headed out the door. I still have classes in the afternoon, and I'm almost late. The afternoon was dedicated to a major ideological and political education class. With over 100 people crammed into the classroom, as the class was nearing its end, the teacher suddenly remarked, "You know, today is actually a special day." I was just packing up my bag when a sudden sense of foreboding washed over me. The next moment, the political education teacher beamed with joy. "Let's all wish Alice a happy birthday." As her words fell, my close-up photo had already appeared on the screen. It was an extremely unflattering photo taken from a particularly awkward angle. Abstracted to the point where even if my mom were standing here, she might not recognize me. After a brief moment of silence, the audience erupted into roaring laughter. "Who is this? They look so bizarre. Isn't that Alice, the little internet celebrity from our school, without filters and beauty effects? This is what they really look like. I can't take it anymore. I have to take a picture and send it to Alice's fans. It's absolutely hideous." Some people sensed something was off and had already turned on their cameras to start a live stream. A university open class exposing an ugly photo was already an incredibly explosive gimmick. In less than 2 minutes, the number of viewers in the live stream had surged to 2,000. "Where did this caveman come from? Gave me a fright." "Miss, are you considering doing custom work for profile pictures? If you are, I'm calling the police. Everyone step aside. My buddy Yang so-and-so is into this type." Before long, a flood of memes made from this ugly picture exploded in the comments section. I'm usually a small-time internet celebrity with 5,000 followers, just sharing my hand gesture dances and daily life updates. Now, a massive influx of netizens has flooded into my comments section, posting my unflattering photos. They're collectively mocking me, calling me a shady internet rat that can't stand the light. The political education teacher was clearly not surprised by the students' reactions. She also knew this photo shouldn't be included in the PowerPoint, but she did it anyway. She did it on purpose. "Everyone, quiet, quiet. No personal attacks or mocking someone's appearance just because they're an ordinary classmate," she called out lightly. But she didn't say anything about turning off the PowerPoint. I trembled all over, calmly watching the scene before me. It was the same in my previous life. Linda colluded with the political education teacher to publicly humiliate me during the political education class. Linda also brought the gift box my boyfriend had given me, pretending to ask me to open it publicly to divert everyone's attention. I was so flustered and at a loss that I followed Linda's suggestion, eagerly wanting to create another gimmick to clarify things. Little did I expect that after opening the gift my boyfriend claimed to have carefully prepared, aside from a thick layer of raffia grass, there was only a small pile of off-brand spicy strips. A gimmick was indeed created, but it was one that made the entire internet burst into laughter. Speechless. What on earth are they doing? Showing off their boyfriend's raffia grass gift box in a big lecture? Wow. First time seeing someone give raffia grass as a gift. Is this a joke? If she doesn't break up with him even after this, then I can only wish them a happy forever. 666. One farce unfolded after another. Even after I appeared on the live stream and everyone realized I wasn't as ugly as the photo the political education teacher had shared, but because of the incident where I unboxed cheap raffia grass, I still became a laughingstock. A passerby commented that I didn't actually look that ugly. And immediately, some self-appointed internet police compared a screenshot from my video with a beauty filter to a screenshot from my live stream, calling me a Photoshop monster. This day in my previous life, and the month that followed, were my nightmare. No matter where I went, people would point fingers at me and secretly take photos with their phones. No matter how I speak up, it's useless. Netizens only want to see what they wish to see. The only thing I'm grateful for is that I didn't die during those depressed and hopeless times. Otherwise, I would never have had the chance to understand what the truth of the matter really is. Thinking of this, I suddenly stood up and walked to the podium. Under the surprised gaze of the political education teacher, I greeted everyone gracefully. "Hello everyone, I'm Alice. Today is my birthday, and I want to thank everyone for your blessings, especially the political education teacher, who thoughtfully included a photo my roommate Linda secretly took of me." My words were logically clear, and in just a few sentences, I explained the origin of the photo. The tone was neither subservient nor arrogant, instantly calming the chaotic classroom that had been in an uproar. Someone remarked in surprise, "This doesn't look like the photo at all. This photo would count as an ugly one, wouldn't it? I thought the teacher's photo would be more realistic." "This is off by 100,000 miles. Happy birthday, pretty girl." I curl the corner of my lips, just as I had anticipated. In my previous life, I was ridiculed by the crowd because I didn't step forward to explain right away. Otherwise, it would never have escalated to that extent. The political education teacher beside me, after a brief moment of surprise, darkened her expression and whispered to me, "What are you doing up here? Get down right now." I looked at her strangely and said loudly, "Teacher, didn't you specifically ask everyone to send me their blessings? Why are you telling me to leave now?" Some clever students in the audience had already sensed that something was off. "Yeah, why not let the birthday girl say a few words to us? Why make her leave?" The political education teacher broke out in a cold sweat on his forehead. This, just as she couldn't come up with a proper explanation, Linda suddenly appeared, carrying a large cardboard box. She walked step by step from the front door to me, finally placing the box on the podium. She smiled at me, radiant as a flower. "Alice, this is a gift from your boyfriend. I made a special trip to bring it over for you. Hurry up and open it to see what's inside. Didn't you say your boyfriend is a famously wealthy second-generation heir, and the gifts he gives you are things we could never afford in our lifetime? Let us all get a glimpse of what that's like, today." She had deliberately worn a pink floral print dress. Her appearance was already quite petite and sweet. When she spoke to the boys in the audience, many hearts melted. She directed her sarcastic remarks at me. "What kind of high-end gift is that? Unwrap it and show everyone. We're all students here. What expensive gift could you possibly afford? I bet it's from a sugar daddy, isn't it? Women these days are so materialistic. They see unboxing videos trending online and immediately demand their boyfriends give them unboxing gifts. They're all college students. Where do they expect guys to get the money for a whole box of gifts? With a face like that, she clearly can't settle down. Why don't you ever see her giving a whole box of gifts to a guy?" Amidst the rising tide of skepticism, netizens in the live stream were also bombarding me with criticism. The reasons were all pretty much the same. I looked at Linda with a half-smile. "Do you really want me to open the box right here?" My reaction left Linda slightly puzzled, but then she remembered she had already secretly swapped the contents of the box. She immediately regained her composure. "It's not that I want you to unbox it. It's that everyone here wants to see just how much your boyfriend loves you, Alice." I curled the corner of my mouth. "All right, then as you wish." I took out my phone and logged into my video account. Because someone was streaming, all my metrics were skyrocketing. When I entered, the unread messages had already reached 999 plus. I took a deep breath and, under Linda's astonished gaze, directly started my own live stream. As soon as I went live, the number of viewers in my stream began to soar straight up. Someone in the audience muttered under their breath, "What the hell? Where are my viewers? Where are my top supporters?" I smiled faintly, watching the no. 1, worth 3,000 yuan. Rise in the live stream. Only a fool would pass up the chance to make money. Letting others take the money is downright idiotic. Whether it's black traffic or red traffic, as long as it brings in cash, it's good traffic. I set up the phone stand I had prepared earlier, aiming it at the cardboard box. Then, under the expectant gazes of everyone, I used my dorm key to slice open the plastic seal that Linda had repackaged, revealing what was inside: raffia grass. There were still people in the live stream room joking around. The streamer's boyfriend is quite thoughtful, knowing to use raffia grass to cushion the top to avoid any bumps. "Hurry up, streamer, I want to see the main event next." I didn't give them what they wanted. Just kidding, the gifts in the live stream are still pouring in. If I finish unwrapping this early, what about my gifts? I leisurely and slowly picked up the raffia grass on top. Seeing the barrage of comments complaining about my slow pace, I smiled faintly. "Family, click follow and like, help the streamer speed up. Thank you, Brother Wong from Society, for sending a rocket. Streamer speed +1. Thank you, Brother Smile to Conquer the City, for sending a carnival. Streamer speed +2. Linda was dumbfounded, the political education teacher was stunned, and the students below erupted in excitement. Seriously, if I weren't actually a student, I'd think this was all scripted. What's going on? Are they using me as a free NPC? Does anyone know how much money Alice's live stream made? Damn, I'm so jealous. Is there any appearance fee? The live stream's popularity multiplied by 0.1 and then by 0.5 equals the money she earned from this session. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. Are you saying she's already earned 50,000 so far? I watched the skyrocketing popularity of the live stream and could hardly hold back my laughter. Linda's eyes were practically turning red with envy. Hurry up, Alice. Are you just teasing us on purpose to get more gifts? stop sending gifts to Alice, she's just a student, she doesn't need that much money," seeing that the live stream audience wasn't listening and instead became more rebellious, sending me even more gifts. In her anxiety, Linda directly reached out to help me remove the raffia grass, layer after layer. The live stream audience was left utterly speechless. "Seriously, are you kidding us? So the shredded paper is the gift? Your boyfriend is really stingy. Uncle will send you a little heart, go buy yourself something nice to eat." As this comment just scrolled by, Linda had already finished rummaging through the raffia grass in the box. I finally managed to push Linda away. I saw a wave of exclamations flooding the comments. Needless to say, I knew it was the spicy strips in the box that had opened their eyes, but just as I was about to pull out the well-prepared script to deal with the live stream audience, I suddenly froze. "Wow, Estee Lauder set, the streamer's boyfriend is really generous. What happened to the promised broke boyfriend? I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable, I'll just die first." But upon closer look, why is the plastic seal on this skincare product missing? I quickly looked at the cardboard box, only then did I realize that it wasn't spicy strips at all inside, but a complete set of Estee Lauder skincare products. What is going on here? I have the video of Linda stealing my things in hand. I'm not panicking, it's just pure confusion. Linda quickly answered my question. She picked up the Estee Lauder from the box in surprise. This can't be the skincare product my boyfriend gave me, can it? I remember the pump head on my Estee Lauder lotion was broken, and this one looks broken too. She looked at me, her tone full of disappointment. "Alice, I thought you were my best friend. I never expected you to be this kind of person. If you wanted it, you could have just told me. Why resort to sneaking around like a thief?" As she spoke, she squeezed the pump of the moisturizer again. Sure enough, nothing came out. The live stream exploded with excitement. Damn, there's another twist. Could it really be her who stole it? The girl looks decent enough, why would she do such a thing? What else could it be? Jealousy, of course. Young women like her are the most vain. Seeing her roommate with expensive skincare products, she just couldn't handle it. This is too much of a show. I should have saved it for the Spring Festival Gala. That's when I realized what Linda was really up to. Not enough to make a fool of me. Now you want to accuse me of stealing. A plan began to form in my mind. I snatched the Estee Lauder from her hand and retorted, "This box was brought from the dorm by you, and I never opened it in between. How can you say I stole it?" Linda pouted. "But this package arrived yesterday, and I even went with you to pick it up. You had plenty of time to swap it out, Alice, and here I trusted you so much. Are you trying to turn the tables on me now?" The political education teacher standing nearby also darkened his expression. "Alice, I never expected your character to be so flawed. As a teacher, I can't cover for you. I will report this matter truthfully to the school administration and ensure you receive the appropriate punishment." I crossed my arms and smiled. "Stop pretending to be fair. You're just holding a grudge because I publicly corrected you when you taught the wrong knowledge point in the last class. The truth hasn't come out yet, so don't rush to jump around." The political education teacher's face flushed red with anger. Someone in the audience laughed. I was wondering why they'd randomly post such an unflattering photo of someone. So that's what it was all about. You're all missing the point. The real issue here is Alice stealing things, which is way more serious. Thieves should get out of our school. Who knows what even worse things she might do next. She looks like a total slut, just like those childless cat ladies online. No surprise she's no good. Linda held down the fuming political theory teacher and said to me sadly, "Alice, although I really want to help you fabricate evidence, now that you've started a live stream yourself, this matter can't be hidden anymore, and you shouldn't be so disrespectful to the teacher. You said I have no evidence, but I actually do." I was curious about what evidence she actually had. Linda shouted, "Lucy, come up here." A sudden sense of foreboding washed over me. The next moment, my roommate Lucy walked up. She glanced at me, her expression filled with disgust. "Alice, I really don't know how you have the nerve to turn the tables after stealing someone else's things. If it weren't for Linda's foresight in giving me the sample, you really would have gotten away with it today." As she spoke, Lucy took out a small sample of Estee Lauder lotion. It was exactly the one Linda had given us this morning. At the time, because I didn't think much of it, I casually handed it to Lucy. I never thought it would now become evidence for Linda to use against me. Linda slightly raised her chin. "The serial numbers on the sample and the full-size product are the same. Whether you stole my things or not, you'll know once you compare them." Seeing that I remained silent, Linda raised an eyebrow. "Alice, you're not scared, are you?" Some people in the crowd were already starting to stir things up. "Let's compare and see." it'll be clear right away if you stole it or not. I think it's just a guilty conscience that's stopping you. Why even talk to her? Just call the police." The audience below had already erupted into chaos. Linda stood with her arms crossed, looking at me with the confidence of victory. To be honest, if I hadn't been reborn, I would have truly been done for today. But now, I hold absolute evidence. So what does it matter if this matter is stirred up a bit more? The more triumphant Linda is now, the more terrifying the backlash she will face when the truth is revealed. Thinking this far, I no longer hesitated. I directly shouted into the live stream, "A super carnival," and the host will compare immediately. If any big brother wants to know the truth, please vote for the host. Okay, the audience below was speechless. Live stream audience, is this really not scripted? If it weren't for the host's age, I'd think she was a seasoned sales veteran with 10 years of experience. Speechless as I was, the moment I finished speaking, 10 carnivals took off directly, and I, facing the camera, revealed the serial number. It matches exactly the sample in Linda's hand. The students in the audience were extremely excited. "I told you she was a thief. I won the bet. Pay up, you bitch. Wasting my time. I've already called the police." "Just you wait." The live stream audience was dumbfounded. Wait. If the streamer really stole it, why is she so calm? Some people are just like that. They act righteous even after doing something wrong. The world is too big, and there are plenty of weirdos out there. I've figured it out now. This is just a scripted act. Only you fools would take it seriously and even throw money at it. Alice, you motherfucker, are you wasting my time or what? Wait, if this really is a script, why do I hear police sirens? The next moment, the police burst through the door. "We received a report that someone has stolen a large sum of valuables. Which one of you is Alice?" The entire internet was in an uproar. It wasn't until the police uniform truly appeared before everyone's eyes that people clearly realized this was not a script at all. Damn, there really is such a dog-blooded reality drama. In an instant, the number of viewers in the live stream skyrocketed from over 20,000 to 100,000, seeing the police arrive. Linda could no longer hold back the smile on her face. She leaned in close to me and whispered softly, "Alice, feeling helpless and scared, aren't you? This is what happens when you cross me. Don't you just love showing off that precious boyfriend of yours? After today, how could he possibly still want to be with you?" The political education teacher also regained the authoritative demeanor of a university professor. She looked at me with contempt and said, "Alice, you really need to be more down-to-earth and steady in how you handle things. If you keep going on like this, how will you manage when you step into society later?" I rolled my eyes. "Watched too many Korean dramas, haven't you? Two big idiots." Before the two of them could curse back, I obediently followed the police and left. You can't go live on a police car. I could only regretfully turn off my phone and calculate how much money I had just earned from that live stream. In the end, it came to at least 200,000 to start. I wiped the tears that had flowed from my mouth with satisfaction. Consider it compensation for emotional distress. Although my live stream has temporarily come to a halt, yet the discussions outside have not ceased. At the moment I was taken away by the police and the live stream was shut down. The hashtag college girl theft incident twists and turns quickly climbed to the top of major search platforms. Countless people began seeking out live stream clips, discussing and analyzing the entire sequence of events. Within just a few hours, the discussion on platforms had already broken the 100 million mark in terms of engagement. The majority of people concluded that I was just a stubborn thief who refused to admit guilt. Only a small number of people felt that my reaction when I was taken away was too unusual, believing there must be more to the story. For a moment, a flood of angry and drama-loving netizens began digging into my school history. Letters kept pouring into the school administration. They demanded strict action against my theft to restore the school's clean campus environment. Many netizens also started attacking my university. To say that a school with such high admission standards still has scum like me shows that my university is fundamentally flawed. It's a good thing I didn't end up going there back then. Many alumni were unjustly implicated, and after learning the full story, they developed a deep loathing for me, a classmate they had never even met. In no time, my personal information was exposed. The backstage was a cesspool, all of one color, my parents and the lone duck fly together. It wasn't until we got out of the car at the police station that I noticed many people had followed us. Some were classmates who never missed a chance to watch the drama unfold, while others were paparazzi who had caught wind of the story. Many had started live streams, their cameras aimed directly at the entrance of the police station. dancing with gleeful excitement. Alright, folks, we've arrived at the first scene of a female student from University A stealing and getting taken to the police station. Everyone, give the streamer some likes and send a few small gifts, today. I promise to stick around until the end. And I guarantee I'll bring you the first-hand follow-up. Want to know what the streamer thinks? Honestly, I think this case is already pretty clear-cut. It's just a girl driven by vanity, stealing her roommate's expensive skincare products. If there's any twist to this story, I'll literally stand on my head and eat shit. Okay, at that moment, someone reminded them, streamer, the person behind you looks really familiar. The man turned around and saw me swaggering out of the police station. Not only was I not locked up, but I also looked quite dignified. Not even a single false eyelash I had applied that morning had fallen off. I caught every word from the person holding up a phone and live streaming in front of me. I walked over and, while he was still stunned, gave a gentle wave to his phone camera. Hello everyone, I'm out now. If you have any questions, please tune into my live stream at 8 p.m. tonight. With that, I got into the taxi I had already hailed and left, leaving him staring in disbelief. In an instant, the number of viewers in that person's live stream increased tenfold, but they weren't there for me. It was to watch the live broadcast of eating shit. Back in the dorm, I opened the live stream at the agreed time. In less than a minute, the number of viewers in the live stream directly exceeded 100,000 plus. I looked at the screen filled with gifts. Once again, I marveled at my own brilliant decision. If I had directly exposed Linda, how could I have made such a fortune now? I selected the rapidly scrolling bullet comments and replied to the questions. Yeah, that's right, it's not a script. Even though I'm out, someone else has gone in. In a few days, we'll formally file a lawsuit with the court. Everyone can wait and see. Thinking back to the scene in the police station when Linda saw that video, I can still laugh out loud. Facing the police's repeated questioning, Linda stubbornly insisted that I was the one who stole her expensive skincare products. Until I took out that video, Linda's face instantly changed. Her first reaction was to rush over and snatch the phone, but she was stopped by the officer. Student Linda, please explain this. Linda was first in disbelief, shaking her head frantically in her seat. After a while, as if she had thought of something, she suddenly shouted loudly, "This can't be real, this must be AI generated." Yes. That's it, it's AI generated. Otherwise, how could she possibly have known in advance that I would take her things? I looked at her with a half smile. So you're admitting outright to stealing, then? And as for whether this is AI or not, I believe anyone with eyes here can see the truth. Linda glared at me fiercely. Just when I thought she had no way to defend herself, she suddenly forced out an ugly smile. Alice, I was just joking with you. Do you have to take it so seriously? She gently tapped my shoulder. Alright, let's stop fooling around. We should hurry back to school. We have an 8 a.m. class tomorrow. Utterly shocked, at this moment, I really wanted to pry open Linda's brain and see what on earth was inside, to be able to say such outrageous things. Our school is, after all, a first-class university. How on earth did she get into our school? A trace of confusion surfaced in my mind. A joke. I'm not joking with you. You've slandered me and stolen my valuable property. Linda, you can just wait to go to jail for me. Linda wanted to come up and tug at the corner of my clothes. No, just because of such a small matter. Are you trying to ruin me? Alice, you can't treat me like this. My husband won't let you get away with it if he finds out. The police held her back firmly. Before leaving, I flashed a smile at the silent political education teacher standing nearby. And you? Don't think I'll let you off just because you're shrinking into a quail. The political education teacher glanced at me lightly and said, I didn't steal anything from you, so even if you report me, it won't do any good. I smiled mysteriously, didn't argue with her. She had no idea. In this internet age, as long as netizens dislike someone, there's nothing they can't bring down, no secret they can't uncover. Sure enough, after I released the original video of Linda stealing, the public opinion online immediately shifted. The anger of being deceived far outweighed the outrage over the theft itself. The keyboard warriors who had attacked me all fell silent and disappeared. Those who had previously criticized me for my strange expression and stubbornness now praised me as a fearless, independent woman. She is a role model for women. Feeling deceived, netizens angrily doxed Linda and the political theory teacher. As for why the political theory teacher targeted me, although I mentioned in the live stream that it was because I publicly pointed out her mistake and embarrassed her, many netizens don't believe it's that simple. A teacher would help one student harm another. The relationships among the three must have been quite deep. Soon, someone dug up Linda's college entrance exam admission ticket. What came next was truly shocking. Linda herself looked completely different from the photo on her exam admission ticket. This indicated that Linda had taken someone else's spot to attend this university, and Linda's real name was actually Yang Fong. When I saw the high school transcript of Yang Fong provided by netizens, I felt as if my brain had been violently yanked by a toilet plunger. Everything makes sense now. Following the trail, it wasn't long before someone uncovered that aside from the connections Linda had back in her hometown, the scheme to replace the admission spot involved someone else within the school. The ideological and political education teacher at the school was also in on it. This teacher turned out to be the older sister of the fake Linda's 30-year-old boyfriend. For a time, major scandals kept emerging, and public discussion reached new heights. Every night at 8 o'clock sharp, I would start my live stream and go over these matters again and again. A single live stream session could easily bring in at least 100,000 yuan. As netizens dug deeper, evidence of the fake Linda taking someone else's spot was quickly gathered. My lawsuit against fake Linda and the political education teacher also went to trial. Both ultimately received the punishment they deserved. In court, seeing that the situation was hopeless, the political education teacher and fake Linda knelt down and begged me desperately, "Please, Alice. For the sake of our time as roommates, can't you let me off just this once? Yes, I'm a despicable person, I shouldn't have provoked you, but can't you be a little less petty, Alice? I'm innocent, I was just deceived by Yang Fong. If you want to blame someone, blame them. Can you let me go?" Upon hearing the political education teacher's words, fake Linda immediately grew anxious. "What do you mean by that, you old hag? Are you trying to shift all the blame onto me?" Fake Linda, furious, grabbed the political education teacher's hair, but the teacher didn't back down either. Before anyone could pull them apart, a loud bang was heard. Fake Linda was shoved to the ground by the political education teacher, her head hitting the corner of a desk. She lost consciousness on the spot. Later, fake Linda died due to ineffective rescue efforts, while the political education teacher was sentenced to 15 years in prison for multiple charges including involuntary manslaughter and abuse of power. As for me, he also successfully caught the overwhelming flow of attention and wealth, embarking on the path of a self-media influencer. At a young age, he had already achieved financial freedom. As for my wealthy, second-generation rich boyfriend, he was easily deceived by the fake Linda and even slept with her in his past life. I'm disgusted. How could I possibly still be with him, after hearing the two stories above? What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.